Okay, so this is the first video for UAP 101. So 101 is kind of like the first class that you take in university, right? Like Psychology 101 or something like that, or Psychology 100 level courses. So this is like UFO, UAP 100 level. Just to introduce you to the idea, to hopefully bring people on board that haven't thought about it that much and that maybe are thinking about it more recently, and people that probably have some great ideas about what might be happening here. Because to be honest, following this for, what was it, 2013? 9 years. Following it rather closely on Twitter and YouTube, seeing most of the videos. That's not true. I mean, there's so many now, right? Following quite a few videos, following the people that I tend to like and what they're saying. Richard Dolan, Grant Cameron, Luis Elizondo, Chris Mellon, George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell somewhat. Mostly those people. There's another handful of people, and there's some new people that came onto the scene. Project Unity in the UK comes to mind, as does, who's the guy? He's in Canada. I'll have to link all these people in the description, all these UFO enthusiasts. I'll try to link in the description so that way you can go follow them as well. I can't remember that guy. Theories of Everything, I think is what it is. Something like that. He's a guy in Canada, maybe Indian? I'm not sure. Background, but dark, good looking guy. So today I just want to talk about what do I actually believe about UFOs? Like, what do I actually think is going on here? It's quite obvious they're here. It's not just because I've heard that they're here or people are telling me that, but I've seen so many things. I'll put a link also in the description. I think I have a list of 10 different experiences that I've had. Just bizarre things, like some is seeing craft or seeing objects in the air. But one time I had like a floating light bubble come into my hotel room, form into a white ball, opaque, couldn't see through it, white like snow, and just hover there in front of me for a while until somehow I left the room, and I don't understand how it did that, because I was right there staring at it as far as I know, right? So I think my consciousness was affected, time was affected, something happened in a few seconds, I guess, of time, or my perception of time changed, stopped or something, right? Something happened. Things like that, things like meditation and high-level meditation, jhana 4 level, and sitting just kind of staring at the floor, and above the floor materialized some kind of mass of something which I felt was related to me and was related to my family tree all the way back. It was a very bizarre experience. Turns out later, wife at the time had spontaneously aborted in the shower the next night. So in meditation, this is seeing the unborn souls and seeing born or alive souls that are dying is part of the idea in meditation and Buddhist practices. At very high level, you start to get abhinas. Anyway, I relate it to the phenomenon as well. It's completely bizarre, and yet I've experienced it, so I know it's real. Like, I physically experienced it, and it changed my life forever. Like, what do I actually think is going on here? Like, millions of sightings, some people saying they're abducted, taken up into craft. I don't go along with that abduction idea all that much. I mean, it can be happening sometimes, I think. I don't think it's happening on the scale that people are saying it happens. So I think that's purely a mind thing. I think they are affected by this phenomenon, the others is what I call them sometimes. I think people are actually affected by that and have this experience in the mind, that they go there. It's like a dream, right? Or something even more realistic than a dream. So, almost like a lucid dream, I guess. How do people dream the same thing? That too, right? Like the phenomenon seems to be so far ahead of us that we're just grasping at straws at this point, right? We're certainly not at the same level. We don't understand how almost anything happens that they're doing. We don't understand how they blink on in the middle of a sky and then they blink off, or they go from stay still to tremendous speeds in an absolute instant, just like that. We can't even fathom that, right? It doesn't make any sense at all. But almost nothing makes sense. Sometimes they come as praying mantis type creatures. Other times they come as gray looking with big heads, big eyes, and small bodies and long arms and long fingers. Other times they come as elves, or like playful little kids, like running around in the forest. My grandfather told a story. My grandfather, who never joked around about anything, suddenly one time said, as he got home from work, he just watched a bunch of little people dancing around in the forest. He called them green. And he said it offhand, I guess, and he didn't really know what the hell to think about it, as he wouldn't. This was 100 years ago, just about. So sometimes they show like that. Other people have said, oh, somebody told Richard Dolan a story. I shouldn't even repeat it because I don't think it's true at all. It's some kid's fantasy or some kid's dream that they had that they thought was actually reality. But they said there were two people in church that were like gods. They were blonde hair at this rural church in the States, and this girl followed them after the service, pushed her way through the crowd to followed them to the forest. Like, who's gonna let your like, what group of people didn't see this kid following these two people to the forest? Anyway, it's a silly story, but some people say that they're walking among us. Richard Dolan says they're walking among us. He just said it in an interview. Just watched it this morning. He believes that. Robert Bigelow said they are here among us. They're here now. I think it was Luis Elizondo also said. I'm not sure on that one, but so a number of people have said they are already here with us on Earth. Some are actually here walking among us. Do I believe that? Nah, I don't believe that. I just don't see what the point would be. I don't see that somebody could create a history about themselves that would be believable. Where would they get like birth certificate? Where would they get like everything that they need? Like, how would they get these things? Create them? I don't know. It just seems far-fetched. But there are certainly craft in the sky, right? There are certainly things that land sometimes or come very close to Earth. There are things that there are beings that come out of these craft, as shown at the aerial school in Zimbabwe. What was that, 1993, was it? A whole group of school kids saw these beings like dancing around or walking around by their craft, and they got mind messages, some of them, saying, don't harm the earth, you're destroying the earth, the oxygen's going to go away, and things like that. Are these things happening? I I have to believe a group of kids like that. I just have. I mean, there was like 70 to 100 kids or something. It was a mass sighting event. Many kids saw the beings like walking around. Some kids heard a flute, flute music, whenever the craft was there, which is interesting. Grant Cameron is big on the idea that this involves consciousness. Well, many people are now, Luis Elizondo and maybe everybody else, that it involves consciousness at some level. So they're also bringing into the picture the idea of remote viewing, being able to see somewhere else as you picture coordinates or just think about whatever somebody else is thinking about, so that you can describe an area in a certain place. Is that happening? I don't know. I didn't see it, but enough people have said that it's happening that it seems like it's happening. That's super interesting. One time I did have a sort of a premonition experience, and you can see that in. Oh, it's not on this site. Yeah, it is. I'll put that in the description as well. So, are they coming? Yes. Are they from different places? I don't know. My idea is that it seems like they tend to go into the ocean, into the water. They probably have bases there. The Navy would be aware of them. Our submarines certainly know nearly every spot in the whole ocean, right? Certainly everywhere has been mapped, certainly, by now. Are they so good at hiding that we don't see like where their bases are? Like, possibly, I guess. Some of them tend to go like into mountains. Some people think that there is some kind of base or something in Antarctica, in the ice, under the ice, in the ice, in the mountains, under the ice, whatever. There are people that believe that. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. We have very few people in Antarctica still. And that would be it would be a perfect place for them if they can deal with the cold, which if they're so far advanced from us, they can certainly deal with anything. Do I think that these are biological things? I think they are AI. I think they are built by an AI civilization, I guess you could say, or system, and they are just they are like bots. They appear to show no emotion, like do nothing extra as far as emotion or anything like that. So I think they are purely they may be biological, but they are a blend of biological and electronic robot type thing, bot. What do I think they want? Do I think they want to kill off mankind? I don't think so. They just seem to be interacting with us, not friendly, but just interacting to maybe persuade us towards something. Jacques Vallee, French guy, I think he's 81 years old now or something, written many books. He's been studying it for many years. He thinks that it's kind of a control system or a learning system that's pushing us in a certain direction. And that direction would be like towards tech, towards innovation, towards solving all of our technology problems, maybe towards helping the environment, maybe towards helping ourselves, maybe towards bettering the world. Yeah, something like that. That makes sense. If they were here to do something nefarious, I think they had plenty of time to do it. They certainly did. They may have actually had a part in creating us or created us entirely. Who knows how we made that leap from small brain to huge brain. It's kind of interesting that they have the big head to show that they also have a big brain, but the things that they're doing, that the technological advancements that we see are so far beyond us. that we certainly know they are our superiors. But it's kind of funny that they have a big head like that, right? Is that showing us that they are the next step? Or they are from another place, but they also have gone through evolution to some degree or something? See, that kind of discounts my AI theory, because AI could create it however it wanted to, right? It could create a head this big, on a body like this, and have the same brain power as it does now. So I don't know about that so much. I think that my idea is that there are probably different kinds. There's not just one kind. We tend to lump it all together and say the phenomenon is bad or the phenomenon is good. I think there are different kinds. I don't know whether any of them are on our side or anything like that. I've heard that before. I think it's all speculation. It's interesting to speculate, though. Could it be true? Sure, absolutely. Why would they be on our side? Maybe they know how evil this other group is, and that what their intentions are, and they would rather us just be able to stay like a homeostasis, like unchanged, despite visits from these advanced beings. Who knows, really? It does appear there is both a positive side and a negative side. Chris Bledsoe, a guy with almost seemingly never-ending experiences. He goes in his backyard, shoots video. There's orbs in the forest all the time. Every other day you see it on Instagram on his thing. I'll try to put Instagram down there too for him. What's going on there? He said that he was healed in some way. I can't remember what it was. Was it arthritis? Can't remember. One time his dog was cut on the neck when Grant Cameron was actually at his house. And Chris was able to somehow heal the dog by holding the dog and putting pressure with his hands on the dog. And the dog was healed, didn't bleed after that. Really bizarre stuff. Why was the dog bleeding to start with? I mean, did the phenomenon show this so that we could see that Chris had healing hands or something? It's a super bizarre thing. It seems more like somebody cut the dog, or faked that the dog was cut or something. Who knows? But apparently a lot of military people, a lot of scientists have gone to Chris Bledsoe's house and experienced some crazy things all the time. They just seem to happen all the time. So most of Chris's experiences, he takes them as positive, most of them. There were some negative things. Other people, how positive is abduction? Even if it's only in your mind, you believe it, right? You believe it 100% because it's so crystal clear in your head eventually. And how do you believe that that's a positive experience? It's quite hard, right? Kind of hard to swallow. People are taken without their consent, whether it's in mind or it's physically, up onto ships, suffer some medical exam they don't want, they didn't sign up for, they're not getting anything out of it. Terrorized. When you wake up flat on your back and you're on a table and you're looking up and you got a light in your eyes and you see beings like with eyeballs like this staring at you, like what kind of positive experience could that possibly be? It isn't. A lot of people that were abducted later spin it as, oh yeah, it ended up being a positive experience. Nah, I'm not buying that. If they wanted to make it positive, then make it positive from the start. They're smart enough to do that. There's some element of terror and fear, and maybe some group that preys on that. Maybe, maybe they're studying that because, we are fearful like crazy whenever we're abducted, and then maybe they're actually studying that as we freak out. Travis Walton, as he ran around the saucer, he freaked out. He was a strong guy, lumberjack or something, some kind of woodcutter. And he ran around like, gonna kill somebody. And maybe that's what they wanted to study. Somebody with anger like that, somebody with like, real passion, energy, and a fight in them. Who knows? Anyway, are we on some trajectory to have a disclosure soon? I think we are. If you believe people like Eric Davis, physicist, he says that we're not really, there's no people in control of the disclosure of this phenomenon. It's the phenomenon itself that is fully in charge of disclosure here. They're fully implementing disclosure. That's really interesting. That's super interesting. And if that's true, then we're just on some timeline of theirs where they're going to unequivocally show us that they're here, maybe tell us what they're doing, maybe tell us what they hope for us, maybe try to mold us but they would actually mold us in a direction that they want us to go, whether it's more technology, whether it's be nicer to the environment, which it seems like, honestly, it seems to me that they don't have any real affection for us. They're not showing us emotions of love and caring and goodwill and unselfishness and stuff when they see us, right? They're talking more about the environment when they give any message. You guys are screwing up the environment. There's a very clear message about nuclear involvement. We came up with nuclear weapons back in the 40s. And ever since then, the UFO presence has been nonstop. I mean, it ramped up considerably at that point. Everybody agrees. Now, the funny thing is that they can give us messages, right? Even by seeing things in the air. One of the messages is that these tic-tac UFOs that are flying around naval carriers and naval strike groups, airplanes or fighter jets and things like that, they're shaped like a nuclear weapon. They're shaped like a big white tank, which is what some of the first nuclear weapons that we had were shaped like that, just like that. And they're flying around at super, like, ultrasonic speed, like crazy speeds, like 20,000 miles an hour, 40,000 miles an hour. We can't even, maybe they're not even going as fast as they can. Maybe they can go 6 million miles an hour. And why would they do that? We can't even see, 40,000 miles an hour. We see them for the briefest second. So that seems very clear. Not only that, I mean, if that isn't clear enough, like, why would they be shaped like a tank like that and flying around like a tic-tac? It doesn't make any sense at all until you think of that and put that together with when they showed up in the 40s. And then put that together with they often hover over nuclear weapon facilities, over sometimes nuclear power plants, I think, as well. But I think it's mostly over the nuclear weapons. They actually shut down nuclear weapons of the United States, Russia, and maybe more places. I'm not positive about the other places. But USA and Russia, supposedly, whole blocks of nuclear weapons were shut down, 10 missiles at a time. Somebody said 50 missiles at one place. I just heard that, and I haven't researched it yet. I just heard that somewhere. But 50, 10, anything, any number, right? It's supposed to be absolutely impossible to turn them off, right, from outside. And they're doing it from a floating object above them, above the silos. How does that, so those things tell us nuclear weapons, nuclear ability is a major concern for them. So is it a major concern because they want to try to wipe us out and they don't want these things around and they're hoping they can persuade us to go a different route, maybe fusion, power and not nuclear anymore. Maybe get rid of all of our nukes. Maybe outlaw nukes for any country to have because they want to take us over. And maybe they don't have that many saucers. Maybe they only have 100 or so. And it will actually be difficult for them. I don't know. I don't believe that. I think with 1 or 2 TikToks, if they put a weapon on them, they could destroy everything every country has. It doesn't make any sense. They're so far advanced that it just doesn't. They're certainly not trying to get us to they're certainly not trying to get us to not have nuclear weapons so that we don't fire them at them, because they just showed us they can knock out 10 at a time in an instant with one thing hovering above the base. It isn't that. It's a concern about nuclear. Maybe it's the concern for the environment, because nuclear, has the potential to put the world back into an ice age, or even worse, like destroy so many living things, billions of living things. Yeah. And maybe that's the concern. Maybe oxygen is the concern. Maybe water is the concern. Maybe every resource that the earth has is a concern. We don't know what they need to survive. Maybe they're all electronic and they don't need what we need to survive. They don't even need oxygen if they're electronic, right? So who really knows? Anyway, that's something of an introduction to me and what I believe, and the kind of things that I'll have on the website will be things that relate to this kind of line of thought. I do like Luis Elizondo, Chris Mellon, George Knapp, Richard Dolan, but he's a commentator basically. He doesn't come up with new information, and often he's wrong. His latest idea that the whole disclosure process is going to stop, he's been saying that for a couple of years, is completely wrong. It's still going forward. It's farther than it ever has been, and it's certainly going forward from here. So he's, I like how he speaks, and I like his level of intelligence and things, but, is he going to give us new information? No. So I like to look at the people that are going to give us new information or new ideas that could happen, that could be true. So there's a lot of new people in the space. The Theories of Everything guy, Kurt Jamangau, was it? Something like that. I start to remember more pieces of it. And the Project Unity guy, and I can't remember his name. But those two people, they have some amazing videos, interviews of people. I mean, just amazing. So I watch those kind of things. I watch releases by New York Times and other major media, and senators in America are also coming out. So many senators are actually involved in this now, and some won't let it go. There's a woman, I think it's Gillibrand, senator, that is just like a bulldog on this. She's not letting people off the hook. They're gonna have to learn about it. And there's one guy that's not ready to be, but he may be confirmed for a position, I think in the NSA, maybe to run the NSA or something, to head it. And she was drilling him with questions, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know about the UFO phenomenon, basically." And she's like, "Well, please get up to speed with it and give me a written response to all the questions I just asked you once you are up to speed on it." And the guy's like, "Oh, okay." So that's cool. There's a number of senators that are not letting it go now, which is very good, because senators are really all we have. We have senators versus the military versus the Pentagon. That's what we have. The senators can do anything. They can get anything done. They can force the military to come out with something. The Air Force has been basically silent on this for years and years and years. Apparently they have the most to lose by talking about it, but they're going to have to talk about it, it looks like. It looks like it's going there. Anyway, a couple people, especially Lou Elizondo, has said that this year he's really excited about. He's really optimistic about. He said things are happening that he can't even believe, and that we're on a better trajectory. We're on a better timeline than he even thought. So that's interesting. Anyway, that's that. I hope this helps. I hope you do like the website. Much of this stuff I had already posted on a different website when I had one. Then I killed that website because I just didn't have time. And now the subject is just going forward so fast. And I thought I got to get it back out there. I might put up some old videos here as well. I had a lot of videos about, what really are they? Just more like philosophical questions and things like that. I had fun doing them, and a lot of people like to listen to them. So maybe put those back up there. If you have anything that you want to talk about, that you want to be focused on here, let me know. Follow me at Twitter. Follow the people that I'll put in my description on Twitter and videos and their websites and things like that. And then try to get up to speed with what's going on. It's constantly changing, but it seems like we're going the right direction, and it seems like we're gathering more information. We're gathering more steam as well to go forward. It could happen this year. It could happen in 6 months. We could have or if you believe what Eric Davis is saying, the phenomena could land tomorrow if they wanted to. Apparently, they're ramping up their interactions with jets in the air, and it's at an all-time high, the number of experiences jets are having in the air, military jets. And so where could that be leading? Maybe it's like to inundate, maybe it's like to make their presence so well known so that pilots are afraid to fly. It's got to be weird, to see there are not only Tic Tacs, there are orbs with squares inside them, with cubes inside them. So 3D, and they're flying by jets and stuff and scaring pilots. How many times you got to see that before you really are I don't really want to fly anymore? Is that what they're doing? It almost seems like that. If they ramp it up anymore, it almost seems like that. Maybe they're doing that to all the militaries of the world. We'll cover the skies with UFOs that are going to freak you guys out. And that way your pilots aren't even going to fly anymore. What are you going to do then? It could be that. It could be some kind of systematic leveling up, of the sightings, of the number of sightings and the intensity of near misses and things with these things. Maybe they're so well controlled that there is zero chance that our jet will ever hit one. Zero chance, because they are so advanced. Well, we don't know that, but they know that, and they may ramp it up to be to a crazy level where we can't even fly anymore. Would be nice, right? Not to have militaries in the world. I mean, it would be really nice. Is that what they're doing? We can only hope. Okay, I said it all before. Hope you like it. Cheers.